Hi, I'm Leslie Noak, Deputy Director of the Parks and Recreation Department here in Pawnee. Today is a very special day because it's the anniversary of the ratification of the 22nd Amendment. As you can see on my calendar, the amendment was originally passed on February 27, 1951, which makes today the 65th anniversary of its ratification. Let's go see what everybody else in the office thinks about it. While we meet the others, I'll give you the basics. The 22nd Amendment was proposed by a Republican Congress in response to FDR serving 4 consecutive presidential terms. He broke the unwritten precedent that George Washington and Thomas Jefferson set by stepping down before a 3rd term in office. The Congress passed the amendment in March 21st, 1947, and finally, 36 out of 48 states ratified it 65 years ago today. Now, let's meet Ron.
Sure.
Well, if it isn't my best friend, Ron Swanson.
Leslie, how many times do I have to tell you that you and I are not friends?
Anyway, do you know what day it is today?
Another terrible day and another terrible government job.
Don't be silly, Ron. I know you love working here. Anyway, do you know anything about the 22nd?
Oh yeah, I remember celebrating that with you last year. Isn't that the amendment where George Washington and Thomas Jefferson set a precedent for future presidents because they stepped out of office, saying that it was unconstitutional for presidents to serve for life? And didn't the framers of the Constitution discuss the possibility of putting a presidential limit in the original Constitution? They didn't actually do it, but Thomas Dewey, who ran against FDR and lost, stated, 4 terms or 16 years is the greatest threat to our nation ever presented. He was greatly in favor of the 22nd Amendment.
Wow, Ron, I'm so glad that you remember so much about the 22nd Amendment.
It's funny I remember all that because government was my least favorite class in high school.
That's weird, because it was totally my favorite class. I always did my homework. Oh, I just remembered. Chris Traeger's in the building today. Let's go find him and hear what he has to say. Hi, Chris. Do you know what day it is today?
It is a fabulous day to run a marathon. Just kidding. It is the birthday of the 22nd Amendment.
It's so awesome that you know that. Ron didn't even know that.
This amendment is literally the greatest thing to happen to the United States. And FDR wasn't the only president to run for a 3rd term. Wilson, Cleveland, and Grant all ran for presidency, but they weren't reelected.
So, do you share my passions for the 22nd Amendment? Isn't it just the greatest?
It is literally the only thing that would have kept us from becoming a dictatorship or like communist Russia for 20 years with Putin. I am so glad to have this amendment.
Anyway, let's go see April. Whoa! April! I didn't even see you there! Thanks, Leslie.
Cool.
Aren't you excited for today?
No, I'm never excited. Why would I be excited?
You're crazy, April! It's the 65th anniversary of the 22nd Amendment! How don't you know that?
Oh, that's cool, I guess.
Well, anyway, you're young and spicy. What are the youth saying these days about the 22nd Amendment?
I guess I can pretend to care. I think the amendment was totally effective because no president after FDR has been able to serve more than 2 terms as president. But I don't really like the amendment. I don't think 8 years is enough for the president to get a hang of his job.
Cool.
Wow, that's really interesting. I like where you're going with that. Go on.
You know how Supreme Court justices get to serve for life? Well, it would be unconstitutional for the president to serve for life, but it's kind of the same idea. The Supreme Court justices need to learn how to do their jobs, and I think the president needs more time to learn how to do his job.
Well, it was great talking to everybody in the office, but the day's almost over. Let's go back and finish what we started talking about earlier. God, I love waffles. Anyway, today was great. I love talking about amendments and constitutional stuff and the government. But unfortunately, the day's coming to an end, and we don't have any more time to talk about the 22nd Amendment. And although my personal heroes, the framers of the Constitution, decided against having a 2-term limit for the presidency, I, Leslie Knope, future president of the world, believe that the amendment has helped us prevent a monarchy rather than a constitutional democracy. That's all I have to say for today. Bye!